On Monday, President Donald Trump got a huge heap of backlash from MAGA for attempting to punish states that boycott Israel. Oh, interesting. On Monday, Reuters reported that Federal Emergency Management Agency funds would be denied to states and cities that boycott Israeli companies. Now, what does any of that have to do with getting emergency funding for a disaster? Nothing. Nothing. In a statement obtained by the outlet, FEMA said that states must follow the agency's terms and conditions. One of those terms and conditions apparently prohibited states from ending commercial relations specifically with Israeli companies. That's right. The FEMA notices posted Friday related to at least $1.9 billion in federal grants that states depended on for search and rescue gear, emergency management salaries, backup power systems, and other essentials, according to Reuters reporting and Newsweek's review. Why the hell would they consider tying that assistance for these states that have been hit by disasters to a foreign country? That does not sound like America first, everybody. And funny enough, you had some people who are apparently America first asking that very question. For example, Candace Owens. Candace Owens, she is someone that I do not have a lot of agreements with. Okay. However, she just went absolutely, she went ham, okay, on this administration. She accused Trump of betraying America and the American people. She also claimed that this was an act of treason. Quote, denying Americans who won't support the genocide being conducted by your friends. Trump has fully betrayed America for Netanyahu, and if you cannot see that now, you are completely blind. Best $100 million Miriam Adelson ever spent. Look, I got to say, she's cooking with that tweet. Let her cook. There's more. Yes, in the truest sense of the definition, this is an act of treason. He is now working to undermine Americans in favor of a nation that has always been hostile to the United States. Wow. Look, again, there is not a lot that I could agree with Candace Owens on, okay? But I got to say, nice move bringing in the $100 million that Miriam Adelson, the widow of right-wing Republican mega donor Sheldon Adelson, gave Donald Trump during this election. That is just delicious. Oh, I love it. Let him fight. Let him fight. Look, the Adelsons absolutely funded Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Their big issue, of course, is making sure that Israel can do whatever the hell it wants with our taxpayer money. And that's it. That's the reality. The Adelson family has long been one of the largest sources of campaign money for Republican candidates and has backed Trump during each of its last 3 general elections. So really, this was an attempt to give the Adelsons a return on their investment. And look, one of the issues that Miriam Adelson was very invested in is opposing BDS and going after protests against the genocide on college campuses. And you can see that Trump has delivered greatly on that, with a lot of these colleges now folding to Trump and kicking out students that were involved with these protests. Now, I'm going to give you some more criticism here from others that, yes, are considered to be MAGA. For example, the Hodge twins. They tweeted, quote, is this America first? The answer would be no, it's Israel first. Kevin Sorbo, yes, that Kevin Sorbo, wrote this. Wait, what? Like he was surprised or something. Perhaps he was disappointed. Alexandra Lanes wrote, I've never seen someone tank their legacy so fast. This is not America first, and anyone advising him on this should be fired. Put this man in check. Chris Brunet said, you can only push the American public so far. Even evangelicals have their limits and see this subservience as crazy. Now, here's the thing. I've talked about this in other segments. Older conservatives overwhelmingly support what Israel is doing in Gaza, the genocide, the ethnic cleansing. But younger conservatives aren't exactly sold on that. So this is where MAGA is fractured on one of these issues. And look, I think the main reason for that is because of religion. Older conservatives are more religious, they're more evangelical, and they tend to believe in the end time stuff. Now, what does the end time stuff have to do with all of this? Israel, look, in order for Jesus to come back and hoover everybody up into heaven, right, the faithful, Israel has to be back to its biblical borders. And then, of course, Jesus comes back, kills everybody, including all the Jews, except for a very small minority of people who happen to convert to Christianity. So this is their end times nonsense that they're pushing, that they're in favor of. Okay? And so young people, though, younger MAGA supporters, they're not exactly buying this stuff, which is interesting to see because, again, you also have, excuse me, younger Americans that are less religious than older Americans, including in the Republican Party. They actually are like, hey, I actually do believe in America first, and this does not sound like it. This does not seem like America first at all. And again, you also have joining them younger Democrats and independents. Again, Democratic Party is a completely different discussion of how subservient they are to Israel and how scared they are of AIPAC and the lobbying and all that. But again, you have the Democratic base that is massively against what Israel is doing in Gaza. And so there's the difference there. Okay. You have independents, you have young Democrats that are disgusted with the famine that Israel has created by blocking food and water from getting into Gaza. There is a famine. People are dying. They are starving to death. And of course, the whole reason that they're doing that, the whole plan here by Israel is to take over Gaza. They want to kick out the Palestinians and, failing that, allow them to die off from famine and disease. That is why we can call it a genocide, because that's what it is. That's what it is. All to try to get people out so they can take it over. And they're doing so with Donald Trump's blessing. Trump, he's like, yeah, oh no, just, yeah, well, I want them to finish the job. They should finish the job. And then when that happens, we got some beachfront property that, beautiful beachfront property that I can go and build a new hotel on. Yeah, that's right. Gaza Lago, everybody. That's the plan here. That said, of course, after this backlash, the administration was kind of forced to walk it back a little bit and lie about their position. They said, this is according to a DHS spokesperson, there is no FEMA requirement tied to Israel in any current NOFO. No states have lost funding. Is that because no states have gotten any funding? Again, you had Arkansas having to beg this administration multiple times to get any sort of help for the tornadoes that have devastated a lot of that area, a lot of the state. I still don't think she's received any money. I know, maybe she needs to send even more strongly worded letters. Okay, they're not getting a lot. They're not getting a lot at all. Now, here's the thing, though. As of Monday, the language about boycotting Israeli companies ended up being removed. That said, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is still out there claiming that BDS is bad and anti-Semitic. No, it's not. It's opposing what Israel is doing. Why should we as American consumers be forced to do business with companies that support genocide? That doesn't sound like the free market at work. Doesn't sound like it at all. And so, look, I'm glad that there's blowback from this, and I'm actually, it's heartening to see that blowback is bipartisan in nature. There has been a sea change in opinion about Israel ever since they launched their brutal assault on Gaza in response to October 7th. I'm not saying that was right, but the response by Israel has been nothing more than genocide and ethnic cleansing. Completely disproportionate. And that's the point. And so, yes, it is good to see that even the MAGA people can get on board with opposing a genocide. I mean, at least they still have managed to hold on to a little shred of their humanity. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.